Hello everyone, it's Justin Rulin back with a new video. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss why I am slowly migrating away from Windows 10. Now, this video is being recorded on the iPhone um, because I currently don't have my computer right now. I'm letting a family member borrow this. Excuse me, I can't talk. I'm letting a family member borrow my computer for now. So, anyways, that's kind of irrelevant. But let's get started. So, this is something I've been wanting to get off my chest for quite a while. And it's something I've really thought long and hard about. But I am slowly starting to migrate away from Windows 10. And I will go over why in this video. I'm going to go over my reasoning for this. And this may be a lengthy video. I'm going to try to make it not really long. I want to, explain my reasoning without making this video very long. But that might not happen. So anyways, those of you who know me very well, and you hear me using my computer, if you're talking to me on the phone, or even if you see me in person, you know that most of the time when I boot up my computer, I am either booting into Linux or Mac OS in a VM. Now, yes, I'm still using Windows as the host, obviously, but I will boot my VM into full screen, which kind of almost gives the impression of running the full operating system and not really showing anything on Windows. So, like I said, a lot of times you'll see me running my Ubuntu Mate distro or my Linux Mint Mate edition, or, well, not edition, but Linux Mint with the Mate desktop environment, or my Debian 10 Buster distro, which, by the way, I'm thinking about upgrading to Debian testing, but anyways, that's not the topic, it's just a random thought. But, excuse me, you'll see me running Linux or my Mountain Lion VM, so that's a clear indication right there that I'm using Windows 10 less frequently. Now, the reasoning for this, there's actually a few. Now, a lot of people discuss telemetry and all that. Now, of course, that is a bit concerning for me as well, but it's not really at the top of my list of reasons why I don't use Windows 10. It's there. Obviously Microsoft is selling your data and whatnot, and so is Google, but Microsoft they know a lot about you, and it's kind of scary what they're collecting. And the fact that there are backdoors in Windows 10 that they can get into your system is disconcerting in itself. So that is worrying to me. Also, the lack of stability with Windows updates. Now, personally, I haven't had any problems, but the reason for that is because I don't install the cumulative updates. Now, you might say, okay, well then you're fine, continue using Windows 10 and just don't install the cumulative updates. Well, see, that's the thing. These cumulative updates are supposed to fix issues that people are having with their systems, or add extra security on top of Windows. So, everybody always says, and I am an advocate for this, when there's an update for your system, update it. But with Windows, it's kind of, it can be scary, to update, because you never know what's going to happen. You could get a blue screen, you could have your files deleted, you just don't know. Now, some updates are forced on you as well, which is another thing we're going to talk about. Forced updates, in my opinion, are just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I understand they're for security, I get that. But, again, this ties back to the bugs. if Microsoft forces an update on you that's buggy, well, yeah, you can roll back, you can revert back by uninstalling the update, but you shouldn't have to do that. And a lot of people have had audio issues where they don't have any sound at all. Now that's an issue for me because then how am I supposed to roll back the update without any audio? I'd have to have sighted assistance, which I don't really particularly like asking for sighted assistance. I like to be independent with my technology. So that's another issue. The next is I'm going to discuss is the whole philosophy that Microsoft is going under, and the mentality that they have is Windows is not an operating system, but a service. To me, that is a mentality that I don't believe in. What I believe in is that the service should be provided with the, on top of the operating system. You should be able to install services on operating system. The operating system should not be a service. And it's almost as if Microsoft just sees Windows as kind of a, I don't know, less of a priority. And they just see it as something that they have to maintain. And to me, that's an issue. Because, again, it goes back to the bugs again. Microsoft, what it seems like to me, and what I've heard a lot of people say, is they don't test their updates. They just roll them out for the sake of rolling them out, it feels like. And they're riddled with issues. Microsoft, they pretty much dumped all their Windows staff, so they can't really test. So basically, you're the guinea pig. You're the average user is the one that's testing the update. And to me, that's a problem. I don't feel comfortable using an operating system where it's clear that the corporation and the company behind it doesn't care about the operating system. They care about collecting your data, making money off of your data, installing junk on your system so you'll click on it so they can collect more of your data and sell more of your data to third parties. I just can't co-sign that. I can't support an operating system where the developers behind the operating system don't really give a shit about it. It's not really a priority to them, and I can't get behind that. Whereas with Linux, well, it's pretty much community driven, so there's a lot of passion that goes behind it, so it's not a service. Linux is yours. It's an operating system that you can control. Now, of course, I'm going to come back to this, and what I plan to do in the future after I finish my reasoning for, me slowly moving away from Windows 10. I'm going to come back to that and what I plan to use. But Microsoft seeing their Windows as just a service is not really something that I believe in. That mentality to me is kind of shit. I don't like it. I want my operating system to be treated as an operating system and not just a service that we have to provide. I feel like there's no passion behind it. I feel like they don't care about it. It's just there, and they're maintaining it because they have to. Now, I understand that Windows is pretty difficult to maintain. I get that. But the reason for that is, they kind of did that to themselves. And now they have to resort to collecting user data and installing a bunch of junk on your system so that you'll click on it and install more junk and therefore allow Microsoft to make a buck off of you, basically. What I'm saying is, so to summarize what I'm saying here, when you activate Windows or you buy Windows, and I'm sorry if this is getting kind of rambly, but I just need to get this off my chest. When you buy Windows, right, or you buy a Windows machine, you're basically the product, okay? You're selling yourself to Microsoft. You're not really the customer to them, you're the product. You're their source of income. Your data is what keeps them going. And I don't want to feel like, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm what was I gonna how do I put this? I don't want to feel, I guess, uncomfortable uh using an operating system that I feel, I should be able to use without any worries. I don't want to feel like worrying about that Microsoft has that they have these backdoors and they can get in my system wherever they want to. I don't want to feel like that. I want to be able to trust. I want to be able to trust the company that I'm using, and I want to be able to trust the operating system I'm using on that hardware. Excuse me. And with Microsoft, I just don't feel like I can do that. Next, the next thing I'm going to discuss is redundancy and Microsoft leaving old code and just legacy code in Windows 10 on top of the new code that they've added. It's honestly, it's just very redundant because think about this. We have two internet browsers. We have Microsoft Edge, which is very horrible, and I don't, I just would not recommend using it. And we have Internet Explorer. I don't understand why we have to have two web browsers on Windows 10. I don't get it. If you're pushing people to use Microsoft Edge, then why not just dump Windows Explorer? I mean, oh my God. Excuse me. Well, I guess you could dump that too, because that's kind of trash. But why don't you just dump Internet Explorer? Get rid of the old and in with the new. And if you're going to put a settings app on your system, then get rid of the control panel, or don't put a settings app on there and just leave the control panel. Personally, I prefer the control panel because I started off in Windows XP and I thought the control panel on Windows 7 and Windows XP was great. Now in Windows 10, it's kind of nerfed, and a lot of elements from the control panel are disappearing and being moved to settings. So my point is, why not just get rid of one of them and just use the one that you think is best. And it's funny because they're trying to convince you to go to settings to change a lot of your change a lot of aspects of Windows and which you want to change, but they still keep the control center, and they want you to use Microsoft Edge, yet they still have Internet Explorer. So I just don't understand that. I don't understand the redundancy. It's just it makes Windows kind of complex to some people because they don't know, they see one thing, they use it, and then they'll get nagged by, they'll get nagged with pop-ups or whatever to use the other option, and it's like, well, okay, but you kept this other option here. Why? I don't get it. It's just I don't understand it. Next is the next thing I want to discuss is the accessibility of Windows 10. Now, yes, Windows is accessible. Yes, a blind person can use it with pretty much no problem. However, what I have an issue with is, and this has always been an issue. This is not just Windows 10. This is Windows in general. You have your own screen reader, which is Narrator. However, you did not what was I going to say? Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked for a second. You have Narrator, but it's not that good. It really isn't. And so now what's happening, and what has been happening in Windows, and probably what's going to continue to happen, is you're going to have to rely on a third-party screen reader to efficiently use Windows. And to me, I'm not a fan of that. I think it's kind of sad, honestly, how these other developers have to come out, and of course, and they're great. Don't get me wrong, NVDA is good. I do like it. But I think it's just annoying how these developers have to come out and create a third-party screen reader that does things better than Microsoft's own built-in screen reader. That's sad to me, and it's a little pathetic, if you ask me. If you get a Mac, you turn on VoiceOver, and you have a very efficient screen reader out of the box. Linux, you turn on Orca, and most of the time, you just do a few configurations. Same with VoiceOver, and any screen reader, really. Do your configurations, and it's pretty usable. So that's the accessibility portion of Windows 10, at least from a blind user's perspective. So again, as I said, this is something I've been thinking about for a while. Slowly migrating myself from Windows 10. I haven't completely done it yet, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually I plan on completely leaving Windows 10. Now, of course, I don't know. I mean, maybe not completely, but it's not going to be a primary operating system. I may either virtualize it or something like that, or boot camp it, which is kind of a hint to what I plan on doing in the future. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Linux. I think Linux is great, and I probably will continue to run Linux, whether that's still virtualized or I actually run an Unreal hardware. But my future plan is to switch to macOS. And the reason I want to do that, and the reason I plan on doing that, is because I'm already pretty much heavily invested in the Apple ecosystem. I have an iPad Mini 5, which is over here. Hold on. You guys can't see it, but it's over here. I have an Apple Watch. I got this iPhone, which I'm recording on right now, and an iPod Touch that's, well, pretty much useless at this point, but basically, I'm completely in the Apple ecosystem now, and still the Google ecosystem to an extent. So I'm planning on one of these days purchasing a MacBook. I don't know when that's going to be, but you will know when it happens. I will definitely keep you posted on that. Now, the Surface Laptop 2 that I have is a great computer. It's a great piece of hardware. But again, it's just Windows that is really turning me off. Now, of course, I do have another Microsoft product, which is my Xbox, and I will be keeping that because, well, the Xbox I don't have much complaints about because that's mainly a gaming system, and I do use it for streaming, and I mostly use it for streaming, but I do game once in a while. Um, so I will be keeping the Xbox around, but I do plan on moving over to Mac OS and Linux sometime in the future. I know how to use both fairly well. I have a Mac OS Mountain Lion VM that I'll boot into and play around in it. And I have various Linux distros that I boot into in a VM to play around with. So I'm pretty efficient, in both of them. Obviously, with Linux, nobody knows anything. I mean everything. It's always evolving. Things are changing, and you learn something new every day you're in Linux. So these are just my thoughts and my plans for the future as far as a desktop operating system goes. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all saw my perspective, and I'm sorry if this wasn't put together very well, but I just wanted to get this off my chest and let you all know what could be happening in the future, and how it could affect it. It will affect this channel because there'll be there'll be new tutorials in the future. I do still plan on Linux tutorials as of right now, but they will be in virtualized environments in VMware. So anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will be back soon with a new video. And peace out, everyone.